So graduates, as the audience sitting here can attest, you're some of the most hardworking and impressive people around. You've juggled your careers and your family responsibilities while also pursuing a degree, sacrificing time with friends or bedtime stories with your child because you knew there was a light at the end of this tunnel and the journey would be worth it. It does remind me of a story you might have seen earlier this year about a teenager who worked at UPS to take care of his sick mother. Now, the UPS facility was 5 miles from his house, and Derek, yes, his name was Derek, didn't have a car. So every day this young man got up at 4 a.m. and began the long trek to his job before working at his job, and then walked the 5 miles back to his home to take care of his mother, and also he had some schoolwork to do as well. His coworkers would offer him rides, but he always would refuse. He was too proud. But one day, the coworkers pitched in and got him an incredible gift, his very own car, a Jeep Cherokee if you're curious. Derek is overwhelmed. He breaks down into tears of gratefulness. One coworker posts the video on social media of them presenting him with a car, and it immediately goes viral with a note. At UPS, we take care of our own. You know, yes, Derek's work ethic was incredible. He was working so hard, but too hard. And what his coworkers did was amazing. And while their gift was certainly magnanimous, it wasn't entirely selfless. It was a recognition, in part, that a coworker who's not exhausted when he begins a shift is going to be a happier coworker and a better coworker. Giving Derek that car improved the entire team. And there's an ongoing debate in business about individual versus team performance, whether you would rather have a cohesive team of moderate performers or one standout star. Do you want a great marketing executive, or do you want 10 decent ones? It's really a false choice because we're all individual performers and we are all team players. Of course, you all hated it when we gave you group projects in courses. There was always some laggard who mucked it up for the rest of you. But there was a reason we made you practice that skill. Henry Ford didn't really hire one really smart car guy and tell him to get building. He hired a factory full of people, each with their own area of expertise. There was the engine guy, someone putting on wheels, someone giving that horn a perfectly annoying squeak. And each of them gave 100%. And it's not all that different now. A few years back, a Stanford professor named Robert Sutton wrote a popular business book, and if there are any young children here, cover your ears. The book was called The No A-Hole Rule. The premise was similar. We're all familiar with a hard-charging jerk at the office who nevertheless gets away with terrible behavior because he's a rainmaker or he's seen as integral to the firm. But as it turns out, he is also creating an environment that suppresses the best work of the rest of the team. When companies got rid of their badly behaved superstars, they actually found out that their profit margin and performance at least remained stable and often improved because the rest of the team's morale and performance also improved. Interestingly, the converse is also true. Another study examined the careers of more than 1,000 star analysts in Wall Street and found that once those stars left their firms to go out on their own, they were no longer A+. At their new jobs, their performance suffered. Why? The most obvious explanation is that their success wasn't simply the result of raw talent, but because they had teams that helped them do their best work. The concept of teamwork, while very intuitive for some, has actually become the subject of intense scientific research. In fact, it's on the cover of the Harvard Business Review right now. As we know, every team is a mix of various personality types and styles. But at a company the size of Deloitte, they are actually studying this as a science. They have a system called business chemistry that tries to account for the different work styles when they're trying to accomplish group tasks. And of course, locally in the world of sports, where much is learned about teamwork at an early age, our New England Patriots, with their motto, "Do your job," has been an exemplar in demonstrating how success comes to an enterprise that allows for the manifestation of individual greatness in the context of disciplined teamwork. The lessons here extend beyond the business and sports world. If we're thinking about our country and our society, are we building a team or a collection of individuals? And how does that answer affect how we act each day? I like to think of a quote from the famed cultural anthropologist Margaret Mead, who said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful and committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." So my advice to you as you leave here to achieve your wildest dreams, be ambitious, be a star, but don't do it at the expense of your team, for they are the people who will help you shine brighter than you possibly can on your own. But if your coworkers offer you a car, take it.